Hi everyone, this is Becca from Becca's Music Room. I'm a music teacher who talks about teacher tips, teacher life, teacherpreneurs, and all things that might hopefully make your life just a little bit easier. Today we're talking about what my goals are for the upcoming school year. Hopefully through this video you will see how important it is to set goals and also be inspired to maybe set some goals for yourself, maybe some of the same ones that I have and maybe some different ones. I'm going to tell you how I plan to actually reach some of these goals and hopefully see how they work out. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share so that other people can see it as well. Now, you might be thinking, why am I setting goals for this school year? The answer to that is really just that I always set goals for the school year. I think it is really important to have something that you're working on, especially in education, which is a field that changes constantly and always has like all these different moving parts and has always got new methodology that's coming out and things like that, that just there's always something you can be improving on. Even if you've been teaching for 18 years, like there's still things that you could do even better. And you know, after a while things kind of start to slide and you might need to revamp things. So just like I talked about in my reflections of my second year teaching, it is very important for everyone to have goals. These are my goals for my third year of teaching. That is the 2019-2020 school year. This year, happening now. And I am currently in pre-planning. Today is actually a Tuesday and my kids come next Monday. So I'm doing pretty well. I've got lots of stuff going on. My classroom is almost finished and lots of things like that. So I have four main goals that I would like to accomplish this year. The first one is fixing my pacing. Now, my pacing, like the structure of my lessons throughout the year, went really well the first year as a first year teacher, but I wanted to improve a little bit. And then last year I had this really funky schedule, which we're having again this year, where instead of seeing my kids once a week, every week, like I was used to, I am now seeing the same class for a week and then a different class next week and a different class the new week after that. So I see the kids every day for 5 days, well, more like 4 and sometimes 3, and then I don't see them again for like 5 or 6 weeks. So it's very interesting, very odd, and that caused some huge problems with my pacing. I still have, you know, I need to teach these concepts in these times, but I underestimated at the end of the year how little I was going to be able to teach. There was one rotation of students. I think I didn't see them at all after like February. I had them in February and we had guest speakers every single day. The next time I got them, we were doing testing. The next time I got them was like the last week of school, and so nothing was being accomplished. And that left some issues because I was like, well, you know, can I have kindergarten that's like behind all the other kindergartens? That's gonna really cause problems next year. And I didn't really know what to do. And so that was a really huge issue. Just I would have entire weeks where I would see the kids not at all, or I would only see them twice instead of 5 times, and things like that really made things difficult. I should have been more on it, but this year I know a little more of what to expect. I know that I need to wrap up pretty much everything pretty stinking early in the year because, I mean, once we get back from spring break, it's like testing and then the end. We get out, I think, the 15th of May this year. So pacing needs some serious help. I now know how many classes we should have, and so I'm going to sit down with a calendar, plot out, figure out how often I will get to see them, and then kind of distribute my standards from there. So like I know that first grade is going to be doing ta, TT, rest, high and low. They're going to do so and me, like all these things. And so once I get, you know, how many weeks I will have and how many functional weeks I will have, then I can kind of figure out and spread them out accordingly. That's my plan to fix the pacing. Hopefully that works out. If you have ideas about pacing, please let me know. The second thing that I am wanting to work on this year is classroom management. This is always pretty much at the top of my list because, again, it's one of those things that could just always be better. I feel few things that I am going to do to help increase my classroom management skills this year. Number one is just building relationships, and the way I plan to do that is to have more opportunities for the students to tell me about themselves, and also kind of including more of what the students like. So I plan to incorporate some rap and some hip hop and pop songs into my curriculum this year. That does not mean that I am not teaching other content. I'm still doing folk songs, I'm still doing classical songs, but adding in other bits where the kids can experience their own music that they're already listening to and loving, but in a classroom setting, and do it with instruments and things like that that they wouldn't have access to at home. In addition to adding some of the kids' music into my curriculum, I'm also instituting a Friday reflections thing, which this will come back a little bit later. So since I see them every day for a week, on Fridays I'm gonna do an exit ticket where the students write what they learned this week, what their favorite part was, and anything else that Miss Davis needs to know, and also how they feel, like if they feel like they learned it really well or didn't learn it very well. But the operative thing being, what is something else Miss Davis should know? I put this on the end of my post-test last year, and the kids told me really interesting things that really helped me understand them a little bit better, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I had known this 6 months ago, like I totally would have approached things differently. I had one student who was like a constant behavior issue, and she wrote on there like, I'm really trying to do better and behave well, and I really want to participate. I had another student who I didn't think liked music at all, who was like, I love singing and I love music and this is great. I had other students I thought enjoyed it because they did what they were supposed to, who turned out they didn't like it. And those things are very helpful for me to know, because I can kind of adjust how I talk to the students, how I interact with them, in order to better serve them. So that's one thing I'm really hoping will turn out really well. We shall see. I haven't tried it yet, so I am hopeful though. And then just anything else I can do to build relationships, talking to the students in the hallway more than I already do, sending home notes, calling home with good things, like all those little things that I'm already doing, I just want to do more of. For classroom management, I am also instituting a new classroom management system this year. And last year I kind of fell into doing the strike system, which I will link for you so that you can check out, because it did work, but I just want to improve it a little bit more and see if I like this other thing better. I saw a teacher do it and I'm kind of changing it a little bit. Part of that is that as a warning, students will complete a think sheet. So when they are not following the expectations, they're gonna do a think sheet that I wrote out, and it says, and it's very simple. It just says like what expectation am I not meeting, and it has my 4 rules that I have, and they just check it off. What was I doing? Why did I do that? What are 2 other ways that I could have handled the situation? Is there anything else Miss Davis needs to know? This is a think sheet, so it's gonna be kind of like almost not quite a timeout, but if they're not doing what they're supposed to, I'll have them complete the think sheet for 4th and 5th grade, not for the younger kids. And when they finish the think sheet, they can come back as long as they have fixed the behavior as well. The reason I'm doing that is because I have found that sometimes the part that I see is not the whole story. So maybe I see a student who's off task or talking, but there's something else going on there that I'm not aware of. And so I'm hoping that this will help bridge the gap between the student and myself and give them the chance to tell me what's going on and give them more of a voice. And then also we can have more of a discussion about the whole situation. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it'll work out well. I'm also planning to read quite a few books about classroom management this year, just to like really get all the knowledge. If you have good ideas, leave them down below so that I can have some inspiration. I'm planning to read 2 or 3 different like teaching books, preferably classroom management, but any teaching books, we shall see. The third thing that I am going to be implementing this year is a little bit imposed on me, but it's incorporating more ELA into my lessons. So I already had planned to incorporate more books into my lessons. I got a whole bunch of books over the summer. I've been looking at different ideas and different things we can do, and I'm really excited about that. And then I got to school and they were like, oh, and you need to do writing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna incorporate that yet. My master plan is to incorporate writing about 1 day a week and just see where I can fit it into what my curriculum is doing. So listening to a song, writing about how it makes us feel, or maybe if we listen to 2 or 3 songs by a composer, we could write a little bit about the composer. We can make up short stories based on different pieces. I'm actually really excited about that. I think that'll be fun. And I have a couple ideas. I've already written lots of ideas out. I just have to actually implement them and see how that goes. Also, I'm implementing the Friday reflections that I've already talked about, which will be writing. And also it will help me know my kids a little bit better. The last thing that I want to work on, goal number 4, is increasing engagement, which is gonna be a struggle. Like, we're gonna write and we're also gonna be engaged. Now, there's quite a few ways that I am doing this, and so my master plan, again, I am incorporating more of the students' pieces. I want to incorporate more and more instruments. I do use instruments, of course, but I can always include more. I feel like I don't use them as much as I would like to, for various reasons, but that's one of my goals this year, is to use instruments even more than I have in the past. I'm getting new instruments I'm super excited about, the kids will be excited about, and yes, so just keeping the learning really fast paced and using more instruments and playing more games. I really want to play more games. Now, of course, that is a lot of things, like how am I gonna play more games and use more instruments and read more books and do some writing? So I'm gonna give myself a lot of grace this year while I try my best to incorporate as much as I possibly can of each of these things. When it comes down to it, I'm just gonna do the best I can, and that's about all I've got. I've already written out my lesson plans for the first week of school, and they look very promising. They include writing, they include books, they include music, of course they include music, I teach music. They include instruments is what I actually meant to say, and they include some of the students' repertoire of music and also some folk songs. So I'm really excited about that. One big perk of having the week-long classes is that I do so much planning at one time, and that actually has been really great for me because I can think, you know, as a whole of the whole week at a time, and it really helps me in planning. So those are my 4 goals for this school year. I am super excited to start implementing them, see how they fan out. Hopefully this will be the best year yet because, you know, 3 years in, so getting there. If you have any goals for this school year, please leave them down below so that we can help each other out, give any advice that we possibly can, and if there's anything that you are curious about or interested in that I mentioned, please let me know and I will let you know what I think. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.